Come on, Bubba.
First of all, just tell us, from your busy schedule to coming here, kind of take us through the events it takes to put the event on and what you guys have to go through for the weekend.
Well, the truth is, Matt does most of the nuts and bolts of it. He does most of the work. And fortunately, this is our 16th show, so a lot of the groundwork was laid in those early shows. Is it 18 now?
You might have missed a couple.
I thought we were on 16.
It's 18.
There you go. Shows you when I know. Anyway, I think a lot of the groundwork for most of the shows was laid in those early shows. Once you kind of get your crews in line, the first couple shows, we were there until 3 mopping floors and tearing down chairs. And we've got a great group of volunteers and people that help us do a lot of this stuff. I think Matt's wife is probably largely responsible for doing a lot of the things that get done. She gets Matt's fighting and training and all that as well. So,
yeah, Angie handles all the contracts, all the medicals. She does like pretty big jobs. She's very instrumental. But we got a good production crew. And, a lot of help from the staff of the coach, right? A lot of help us with some promotions. They've got music crews and video crews, same shirts and blazers. Chris Ross is our production guy. Very massive job. He's done with us, I think, since the very first show. So
was he the first? With Creed?
He was there, yeah. Creed hired
Good
him.
Lord.
Yeah.
Now, about the only thing Creed did.
I know.
What's the biggest difference being on the other side of the spectrum? Rather than being in the locker room warming up or being in the locker room telling those guys it's time to come out for your fight.
It's a lot more fun beating somebody's ass.
Yeah, I know where I'd rather be, that's for sure.
Yeah.
This is a lot of work. This is, originally we started to help promote the Team Quest guys and the guys that weren't getting on pay-per-view and get them some exposure, get them out there. There was a problem for a while where everybody thought that every single guy that came out of our gym was the next stud, and it was hard to get them fights. And so, I think we realized that everybody's training now and everybody's tough, and now you just got to go out there and compete against all the best guys. So that's kind of what it's about.
Now, why the ring instead of the cage?
Because we owned one. We didn't have to build a cage. I mean, basically.
Yeah.
And now we added the extra rope and got rid of the hemp and used cable. It's stiff, like Pride does. It's stiffer. I think we've overcome most of the stigma that was attached when we started this 3 or 4 years ago. And back then, it was still quite a stigma attached to the cage. You're one of those cage fighters. Like somehow we were crazy because you got in the cage.
And you have boogers in your nose. Look.
Hence the name the sport fight is, I think we wanted to promote this as a sport and get people away from the idea that MMA is a spectacle and that, guys fight in a cage. This is really a sport and people understand what, fighting goes on in a ring and the whole new idea of fighting inside of a cage was kind of new to a lot of people. We wanted to draw in not just the hardcore fans, we wanted to expose the general public to the sport.
We wanted to create more of a family atmosphere. Matt's family, I've got family.
Similar to
his kids have done demonstrations at our shows. We got a lot of kids in the audience that are into martial arts, and so we wanted to kind of steer away from the F-bombs and the chicks in string bikinis or thongs and do a little more family-oriented show. We try to stay away from entrance music that's got a lot of crap in it. Just create it's still a rough and tumble event for sure, but
it's rough enough sport as it is.
You guys hand out ears like that at the show? Are those free?
You want to say?
I got one thanks to you.
Now, is there anything else you guys want to say about the event, or any other differences
between sport fight and
most of the other shows?
And the biggest difference is we promote to a broad audience, making a sporting event, a full-on sporting event that you'd be happy to bring your kids to and your wife to.
I think we commonly hear is from the fighters, because we're fighters. We treat the fighters how fighters should be treated. The guys that come and fight for us are happy, they're treated well. We wish we had tons of money and could pay them a lot more, but I think at the level that they're at,
you have tons of money.
They're getting a lot of those.
So, have you guys used a lot of the influence from your wrestling days, as far as like Rico's event? He tries to create that dual meet, that old college dual meet. And you mentioned that in a previous interview. You guys?
That's one of the things I liked about the Sub-X was that feel, and it took me back to being in college or being on the national team, USA versus Russia. Ours is more of a fight event, in that it's single fights, and we don't do a face-off or the dual meet feel like the PSO had. But still, I think, and people don't like to sit around a lot. We have a couple of small intermissions, but we keep the fights rolling. We rip through the 10 or 12 fights that we have and keep people happy.
The crowd wants to get in, get their fight on, and then go out and do their party. So we don't want to keep them there all night.
And what do you guys look forward to? Bringing everybody home, and especially you coming home, and seeing everybody. And where's your after parties, or what kind of trouble do you like to get into when you come back?
Well, I have family that lives here. Usually when I'm up here, I get to see my son. My daughter lives here as well. My 22-year-old daughter lives here. So my dad's just up the road. He usually comes down to these events. So my family shows up here too. It's an opportunity for me to pop back into the region and into the state and see folks that I don't see all that often.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Punch Bobby.
I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. It's going to be exciting.
I look forward to Matt wrapping your ass up and beating on you a little bit.
Sunday we'll be there.
Don't
Sunday.
forget the time we were partying at friggin' where was that? And we can't go into that coming. It was a red trip.